Have you ever just stopped and thought about the rules that run your life? And I don't just mean stuff like traffic laws. I'm talking about the unspoken rules, the social stuff, the promises you make to yourself, and then the really, really deep ones, the fundamental laws of the universe. Well, today, we're going to dive into all of it, from how a tiny particle behaves to the huge choices we make every single day.
And this quote from a recent discussion, it just nails the big question, right? If absolutely everything in the universe, from distant stars to the cells in our own brains, is made of particles that follow these super strict physical laws, where does our choice even come from? Is that feeling of freedom we have actually just an illusion?
And seriously, it's not just about physics. Our entire world is built on rules. Just think about it for a sec. Social norms tell us how to act in a coffee shop. Economic rules basically shape our entire financial system. And for a lot of us, spiritual or ethical codes are our moral compass. We are just creatures that make rules and follow rules. But are some of those rules more fundamental than others?
Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's step away from the rules we create for a minute and look at the ones we were just born into. The fundamental, supposedly unbreakable laws of physics. You could think of it as the source code for reality itself.
So, believe it or not, physicists have what is essentially a rule book for pretty much everything we can see and touch. It's called the Standard Model of Particle Physics. It lays out this handful of basic particles and the forces that tell them how to interact with each other. This is it. This is the blueprint for the entire material world. So at the very bottom, you've basically got two types of particles, leptons and quarks. But here's a really wild detail. These particles have handedness. Yep, depending on how they spin, they're either left-handed or right-handed. And this isn't just some weird trivia, it's critical. For example, the weak nuclear force, which is behind radioactive decay, it only interacts with left-handed particles. The laws of the universe literally play favorites. How crazy is that?
And these quarks, they're not just floating around on their own. Nope, they're held together by something called the strong force, and the particles that carry that force are called gluons, which is the perfect name because they act like a kind of cosmic glue. It's just another reminder that, at its core, the universe seems to run on these incredibly strict, predictable rules. But here's where it gets really interesting. We call them laws, but are they really set in stone? Are they the same everywhere? And have they been the same forever? I mean, the whole point of science is to keep asking questions, right? And even our most fundamental ideas are always being put to the test. What if the rules are different somewhere else in the cosmos? Or maybe they were different billions of years ago.
And this isn't just some philosophical thought experiment. This quote points to a very real, very active debate happening in cosmology right now. The James Webb Space Telescope is measuring how fast the universe is expanding. That's the Hubble constant. And it's getting numbers that don't quite match up with measurements from the cosmic microwave background, which is like the echo of the Big Bang. This little discrepancy, it suggests our cosmic rulebook might not be complete. There could be whole chapters we haven't even found yet.
So if the universe is this massive, intricate machine, this cosmic clockwork just ticking away based on fixed laws, where do we fit in? Are we just another gear in that machine? Or is there something more to us? A ghost in the machine? And that brings us to the big one, determinism. And honestly, this definition here uses the perfect metaphor. Just picture it, a line of dominoes set up at the very beginning of time, at the Big Bang. Every single thing that happens after, every event, every action, every thought you have, is just the next domino falling in a completely predictable chain reaction. And this is where that huge cosmic question comes crashing right into our own heads. If your brain is just a big collection of atoms, and all those atoms are just following the laws of physics, is your choice about what to eat for lunch really just a super complex electrochemical reaction? Where is the you that's actually making the choice?
This paradox is so mind-bending that philosophers have spent thousands of years trying to figure it out. And they've come up with what you could call philosophical escape routes, different ways of thinking about freedom and determinism to try and make sense of it all, to reconcile the physics with our own experience of being human. Okay, so this whole debate basically boils down to three main camps. You've got the hard determinists over on one side who just say, yep, it's all dominoes, free will is an illusion. Then, on the complete other side, you have the libertarians, who argue that we're somehow special, that we can start a whole new chain of dominoes all by ourselves. And then, kind of in the middle, you have the compatibilists. They try to have their cake and eat it too, saying, yeah, things are determined, but freedom is just about being able to act on your desires, even if those desires were determined.
And this really gets to the heart of it. What do we even mean by freedom? Is it about having the freedom to do otherwise? You know, the ability to rewind the clock to the exact same moment and choose the other option? Or is it about the source of the action, the idea that the choice came from you, from your character and your desires, even if no other choice was ever really possible? They're two very different ideas of freedom. So, all of this brings us right back to where we started. Whether we have that deep cosmic freedom or not, there is absolutely no question that we create and live by our own sets of rules right here in the human world.
Look, at the end of the day, we might never solve this huge metaphysical puzzle, but that doesn't really stop us, does it? In our day-to-day lives, we all act as if we're free. We make choices, we build societies, we create laws, morals, and customs. We live like we're the ones writing the story.
But those human-made rules have very real consequences. Sure, social norms can bring people together, but they definitely have a dark side. When we just follow them without thinking, they can totally crush individuality, they can lock in harmful stereotypes for generations, and they can build systems that hold entire groups of people back. The rules we choose to live by shape our reality, for better and sometimes for worse.
And so that leaves us with this final, really tough thought to chew on. If our actions are all just the last dominoes falling in some long cosmic chain, what does that mean for responsibility? Who do we blame for injustice? Who gets the credit for all the progress we've made? It forces us to ask a really important question, whether our choices are truly free or totally determined. What kind of world are the rules we follow and the rules we create actually building?